Whoa, whoa, whoa! Welcome to Thursday night. Welcome to the Locker Room Sports Show. I am your host, Mike Lauro, and I am joined by a cast of characters today. When you're down and you need to go to the bullpen, you got a signal to go to the bullpen. Of course, I am here with the hammer. To my left, Joe Marks.
Good evening.
We got James Scorza.
What's going on?
And of course, coming out of the bullpen to help us out tonight, also Joe Scorza, a.k.a. Papa Scorza, a.k.a. The Knowledge.
How's everybody doing, man? Yeah.
So we got a nice hour planned out for you here tonight. We're going to be covering the Flyers, the Sixers, a look back at that woeful Eagles game a week ago, a look ahead to see what's going to go. I'm pretty sure the hammer is cocked and loaded and ready to go. James is probably going to have his thoughts as well, along with the Knowledge, Papa Scorza. He'll be ready to go as well. And
yes,
myself, we should make this a fun hour. Again, guys, James and Joe, belated Happy New Year's to you guys, Papa Scorza.
You too, my brother.
Hopefully Santa was good to you guys. It's been a couple weeks since we have been here.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I was under the weather a week ago, and I guess filling the show was couldn't kind of do it last week. Schedules were all kind of twisted. So we again apologize for not being on last week. But let's get down to business here, the Flyers. Woo, Lord. This is my mother-in-law checking in. Thank you. And guys, they went 1-2-2 on this road trip.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly feel like they didn't play as bad as their record indicated on that.
Yeah.
Well, considering the one win is against a really good team.
Yeah, they were the best team in the Western Conference. So, looking at that, I mean, I know the last game was a little bit of a clunker. I was actually here. I covered it.
That 5-2.
Yeah.
It got out of control.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, they just couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
And, he's a marquee player.
Yeah, McDavid is a really good player.
Yeah, him, Draisaitl.
Him and Draisaitl and somebody else on that team.
That Hopkins.
Nugent Hopkins.
Yeah.
Stuart Skinner, the goaltender.
Yeah, Skinner was really good. The kid, Hyman, Zach Hyman.
Yeah, Zach Hyman. Fogle,
Warren
Fogle.
Yeah, they were all over the place. So, I'm not going to kill them too much for that.
No.
Now, they are home tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets.
It should be easy for the Eagles, for the Flyers too.
You already got the birds on the brain.
Yeah, on the brain. Yep, I got a lot of problems with that team this week, and I'm gonna hear about it.
Festivus level.
Yeah,
here, so
I was gonna wear my Serenity Now T-shirt just to pay tribute to him, but I said, I'm hungover today. I can't do it.
Oh boy.
I mean, here's the thing: the upcoming games for the Flyers looks really promising. As far as teams that they should be able to beat, because they've kind of beaten in the past.
Yeah.
In the recent past. So you have the Penguins, the Flames, the Blue Jackets tonight. So you have some games in front of them.
Yeah, they can eat a little bit.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Steve is checking in and says...
He says a little bit of words we can't say on these airwaves, but... Why the blankety blank are people putting
on AJ
Brown and the presser?
Okay.
We're gonna get to that, Steve. Believe me, I know.
We're gonna get into that.
That's coming.
We're all unpacking together.
The missus checking in. She's still under what's the word I'm looking for?
She has her own name now.
Oh yeah. She's not under.
That's good. Welcome.
Nice.
But yeah.
But back to the Flyers real quick. The one game I was really impressed by was how they looked with Seattle. Because Seattle was one team that everybody's been talking about the last couple months. Obviously with the Winter Classic and obviously what's been going on with them. But I got to be honest, I mean, I'm not at all PO'd about what they look like at all.
No, I thought they had a good one.
No, they don't quit.
No, the wife again saying hi, guys. Or hey, guys. Don't mind her. She's a little under sedation, so... I love her, but she's still under sedation.
We all should be by now.
Yeah.
Well, she's married to me, so she's got to be sedated. But
this is a top 15 team.
I believe so.
I believe so.
I think they could be possibly top 12. To be honest with you, I mean, they're playing really decent hockey, and the one thing that I've been saying that I even said on the post game the other night, even after the loss, their penalty kill has come so far from a year ago. Like I saw an article that I believe it was Sam Carchidi put out. Have the Flyers come back to earth? I don't think they've come back to earth.
I don't think so.
you know, they were just on the wrong end of a couple really close games.
Right.
No, okay, I put a comment on the group text because with one of the bad losses, your partner Pat Bernard wanted to, you know, pour some salt into the wound, and I basically jumped the gun and I basically said, "Is this them coming back down to earth?" And because we've seen it before as Flyers fans, we've seen it before. They go on this really hot tear and they go on like a 10, 11 game losing streak, and you're like, okay, now we're back to down to earth. But they haven't done that. I mean, and I'm not
convinced that we're really going to see that. I mean, we're a quarter of the way through more than a quarter of the way through the season, and I honestly feel like what you see is what you get at this point. And what I see is a team that is, you know, overachieving despite where people thought they would be.
Right, where they were expected to be. Right.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really liking, especially some of the younger talent too. I mean, just look the other night, Joel Farabee, even in the loss, I mean, he had the assist on both of the goals.
Right. They play hard.
Yeah, my boy Insanio is checking in, all the way from Beantown. Yep. He says, "Sup, Slay, sup, fellas." So that's my buddy Insanio checking in from all the way up in Beantown, checking on. Again, too, like again, guys, if you do see a few friends of mine popping in with an Atlanta Falcons logo, a dear friend of mine, Leland Lynch.
Oh yeah, right.
Condolences.
He was a friend of mine that we've known each other from a track group. He was an Atlanta Falcons fan, so a lot of us friends of his changed our logo in tribute to him to the Atlanta Falcons. So if you do see, it's not a bunch of Falcons fans; it's just a lot of friends with Leland who, and Leland would comment on my show or when it was just me. He would comment and he would always tune in. So again, Leland, you'll be missed, buddy, and rest in peace.
Well
but yeah, getting back over to this with this Flyers. You know, like I said, the one thing I'm noticing is guys like Farabee, Morgan Frost too. Morgan Frost is starting to come off the back of that milk carton a little bit with his play.
I still need to see more. I'm sorry, I'm just that hard of a critic.
Yeah,
I just still need to see more from a guy who is a high level prospect coming out. So I'm not saying he's not. I mean, look, you're right. He came out from off the milk carton. That's true, but it's just from that guy. It should have come a lot sooner.
I think it has to come with Cam Atkinson too.
Yeah, well,
no, that's a guy like if they're going to trade somebody, I would be like
probably the big.
I would drive him to the airport.
Look, here's my feeling. You brought it up before the show. So Cam Atkinson came from the Blue Jackets,
Right.
but Cam Atkinson's contract, I think, is expiring soon. So do you trade someone like him, like you're saying, for like a Johnny Hawk?
I was gonna say for Gaudreau.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to take a whole lot of draft picks.
I get it, but it's also an expiring
he's going to be the
contract.
But he's going to be the throw-in guy.
Right. But he is going to be the expiring.
He's like the Tobias Harris of the team.
Yeah.
True.
I kind of went through this on Sunday with Pat because Pat all last year, we got to get Johnny Hockey here. Kept telling me I was nuts. I was like, dude, he doesn't fit the system here. Of what Tortorella was trying to run a year ago.
Right.
Gaudreau didn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the team we had around them. Around last year. You know, you had Kevin Hayes, you also had D'Angelo here. You know, you had guys here that, you know, he probably wouldn't have meshed well with in this lineup. The team they have this year, I think he could come in
and
fit in. And I think it would help out. It would help a guy like Travis Konechny. Now you're looking at a front line of Couturier, Gaudreau, and Konechny. Like, that's a hell of a line.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and then what it does is it really kind of opens up your secondary line for guys like Farabee, Morgan Frost, Tyson Forrester. You know, I'm trying to remember. Not Konechny. Konechny would be on the top. I'm trying to think of the other kid's name that's been having a really great year for them. Tippett.
Tippett.
You know what I mean? Like, so now it's putting a lot of pressure now on these other teams.
And it moves the needle a lot further, quicker.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, definitely.
It does. And
considering this is supposed to be year one of rebuild.
You know, I got to be honest. Sometimes when I thought of a rebuild, I was thinking this is going to take a few years to get back under him.
What did we bring up?
Bobby Brink is another guy.
What-
that comes
what
to
did
mind,
we-
too.
Oh yeah, him too. I love that kid.
What did
So
we
do I.
bring up on one of our shows before, James? When the season ended, we were like, okay.
Yeah.
So what's the prediction for how many years of a rebuild? And I think you said
like 5
years.
5 years away from
I
being
think
5
that
years
was
away.
basically the average. It was 5.
Right.
And
Well, I mean, if this is the best they could do for a rebuild, I think it's a great start.
it's a great start. If this is a 5-year
build the-
rebuild,
That foundation.
Okay.
Right.
I'm good with that. I mean, because you're still going to have 3 years until some of those guys.
Yeah,
like-
and they know that it's not a quick build.
yeah.
And here's
Right.
the thing too, like
3 years
again,
said that.
you still have guys coming in the pipeline. You have
Yeah.
Metcalf, you have
You got young
Gunther,
guys.
Yeah.
you have Gunther coming, you have you know the guys up in Allentown.
Even
Right.
the one that was in the World Juniors, Bunk. coming
Bonk,
down.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, Oliver Bonk.
Oliver Bonk. Like you
Yeah.
got him coming down. So I mean, like there's a lot of
And
guys
if
out there.
Things work out in the Russian league thing with that one young.
Yeah, Mitchkov.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mitchkov.
Mitchkov.
Yeah.
as a possibility
Well,
within
there's
the next
also-
couple of years.
There's also a
Happy New Year, Fuchs.
possibility that within that Russian team that Mitchkov plays for,
Yeah,
that the Flyers are also looking at a teammate of his.
right.
Yeah, I heard
and
that.
and possibly trying to bring him because they feel like I think it's even a line mate of Mitchkov's
Hmm.
because they want to kind of bring that chemistry over to the Flyers.
Definitely.
And I don't blame them. I mean, if you go back in not so long distant future past, I mean, you can look at the Russian 5 back when
Right.
Detroit
With
picked-
Detroit.
yeah.
Yep.
That was
was-
a dangerous
Yeah,
team.
what was it? Kozlov and Fedorov and
Fedorov.
Yeah, that whole group.
Fetisov.
Fetisov. Yeah.
Yeah.
The defectors.
Larionov. Yeah, Larionov.
Right.
Listen, hey, what's up? Mike Fuji checking in, saying, "What's up, fellas? Happy New Year to all. Happy New Year to you too, Fuji." Okay, here we go. He said Morgan Frost is a healthy. Matty B checking in. I'm sorry, Matty. I'm just reading your comment. Didn't even let you know. He says Morgan Frost is a healthy scratch tonight. He needs to be dealt. He's not going any further here. Okay.
Oh.
He said Atkinson is under contract through next season.
Yeah, but that's still kind of an expire. I mean, 2 years.
You would still buy him out.
Right. You
But-
can buy him out for a lot.
I don't know if you're going to get much back though for Ed Atkinson. I really don't. Like Joe said, like Papa Scorza said, he's probably going to be a throw-in.
Yeah.
I would like trade Atkinson to maybe a Toronto to get John Klingberg or somebody if he's healthy. But Klingberg's been playing for so long. That's the thing. We don't even need a big defenseman.
And you know
Yeah,
what?
but
And
is that a Mark Stahl kind of move?
True.
like now that I can
That-
see
that's
him
where
being
I'm
a
at,
guy.
too.
I can see him being a guy getting moved, like a Mark Stoll getting
Right.
moved.
Right.
At the trade deadline. I just don't think that there's enough there. I would love to get, Gaudreau back in a fly. I would love to get Gaudreau in a Flyers uniform now with this young nucleus
Mhm.
of what we have. I just don't know if the Flyers have what it takes to get them here.
Yeah, they might not have enough capital. to work
Right,
with,
that's what I'm
Right,
saying per
yeah.
capita. But
Or capital they want to move.
right, exactly. He's a $6 million
million, yeah.
cap hit. No one's taking that for Atkinson. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, I don't
fair
know.
enough.
I don't know the.
Yeah,
financials.
we didn't know the financials on that, Matty. We're just
We're just spitballing here.
yeah, exactly.
Speculating.
But Matty, since you're watching, buddy, I would ask you a question. Who do you feel like the Flyers could move to get somebody in here? Like who would you think that the Flyers would be able to move to get a decent return?
I still feel like it could be Coots. I think Couturier gets moved. You get someone a little younger with a little bit.
There's a
more
lot of speculation I
higher-
saw today, like Winnipeg was interested in TK, like Konechny.
No, there's too much more you got to see with
Yeah.
TK. I think TK is.
Yeah, you don't want to give away all the talent.
Yeah, I mean, if
Right.
you're getting back like Kyle Connor or some, or
you don't want to
even
turn him
like
to Sam Hinkie here.
Even yeah, right. True that. True
We're,
that.
we're not trying to trade Allen Iverson.
We're
for
giving
Andre
away
Miller.
assets and getting.
And you can't
nothing
get rid
back.
of Konechny in his prime either.
Right.
I mean, I kind of agree with you guys. Like, I know I've been told I was a little kind of nuts for debating this with Pat, but Pat was under the mindset that like nobody's untouchable,
Right.
and I kind of agree with him, but to a point. I feel like
You have to have some kind
I
of a
feel like
foundation.
I feel like a guy like Konechny is somebody you can build a foundation around.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's got to
And-
be a line in the sand at
Yeah,
some point.
exactly.
right.
You're
And,
going to keep some talent.
right. Like I can understand them wanting to trade Carter Hart. Matty B checking in says,
So he says,
and the Florida Panthers first round pick next year. Okay.
who is we're getting back just a first round pick.
Florida's is good. That
Yeah.
pick's not gonna be.
I don't know.
That
Maybe
good.
he has another thing there.
Yeah, I guess
because Florida's like second in their division. So
Carter Hart.
Hart and their Florida pick that they have.
For
they
next
only
year.
got Bobrovsky. I don't think they need any more.
Yeah, they do. Bobrovsky's getting old. Bob's getting
Yeah.
old. Bob's getting old
I don't
down
know,
there.
I don't know.
Bob's getting old.
Yeah, Bob should
Yeah,
have never
right.
left.
He shouldn't have. Like
Bob
that's.
should have never left.
But he didn't want to be here.
Yeah, I know.
He didn't want to be
Well,
here.
he
Like
didn't wanna
I
be
heard that.
That's
Man,
the same with Briskov's like humongous.
well, the reason why they went out.
Briskalov was a nutcase.
Yes.
It was an
Yes.
absolute.
I don't care.
nutcase.
That dude could stop a puck. I'm sorry. When he was in Arizona, that dude stopped everything.
Yeah,
he
he did.
stopped too much with his head.
But they got Mike Smith.
Oh,
after that,
okay.
too.
No, he's saying no. We have Florida's first round pick.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
bad.
Okay.
It's
For only
not
Tippett,
going to be a
like,
good
Yeah.
first
When we
round
got
pick.
when we
We
traded
got-
Giroux.
Yeah,
that's
when we
right.
traded Giroux. Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Forgot
So
about
I mean,
that too.
so he said send that pick and Hart
Oh, and by the
and
way,
package that. Okay.
all,
So
all
okay.
the Philadelphia Flyers fans that hated me for the trade Giroux, he's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, you won't see him no more.
why is that?
He's in Ottawa somewhere in Siberian
Well,
land.
here's the thing. I think that's where every player goes to like end their
Retire.
career. Even Tarasenko too. I like Tarasenko, and he went to Ottawa.
Is that where he went?
I think he did.
Tarasenko
I
went
think
to
so.
Ottawa?
I thought he was with the Rangers.
No, I think they didn't. I don't think they signed it, but I think that he went to Ottawa instead.
Did they really?
I think
He
so.
said that Panthers pick will be number 28th. They're going
Yeah.
to the Eastern Finals.
Yeah.
They may, man. They
Maybe.
may. I don't know, man.
Matthew
Uh,
Tkachuk is a hell of a player, though. No, that's not Matthew
Well,
Tkachuk.
hold-
That's
hold on.
No, it is Matthew Tkachuk.
I don't know if the Panthers are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, they're a good team, but
Still got to beat Tampa.
you got to get through a lot of good teams.
Still got to beat Tampa. Vasilevsky is like
And
been-
NHL playoffs
on
is never
fire.
something.
Blue
certain.
Jacks need a goalie for a future. They need picks. Get me some Johnny Hockey, Matty B. So Matty
They
B's
got a
on that
goaltender.
trade.
They
So
got Bruce Lincoln.
Matty B says trade him in division. Trade Carter Hart in
Did we
division.
trade Bobrovsky to Columbus first?
Yes.
Back
Yeah.
10 years
Yes.
ago? I
Yes.
thought so.
Yes.
I think they're a little weary with us trading for our
Yeah,
goaltenders.
really.
Is Voracek still playing? Is Voracek still out there?
No, I think he retired.
No, he retired.
Did he? I was about to say because I know he was
He
out
didn't
there.
officially retire, but I think he's still.
He's still collecting a check.
Yeah.
He's still collecting a check, but he's not playing.
Right.
Like not that I know of.
Man, that dude, Voracek. That dude was the human Zamboni. He sucked up more ice than the Zamboni.
I'll bet.
He did. Every time he got the puck in the corner. Don't give me the Bruins are a good team, a good playoff team. They are the Bills of the NHL. Oh, that's great.
Oh, man, he's throwing the Bruins under the bus.
Yo, Wally, he's pissed. I mean, I can
Oh,
listen.
no, I know.
Listen, last year, dude, he called it. He kept saying, "Yo, my Bruins are going to choke. They're going to choke." And sure enough, dude, they did. We were like, "Get out of here,
Do you think that anyone saw it coming that early?
What's up,
in the
Ryan?
playoffs?
dude." He was calling that, and like he was
In
calling.
round one?
Dude, he was calling it. He called.
Wow.
He came in. He said, "I have no faith in this team." He said, "They're going to lose," and I was like, "No way!" I was like, "You're on drugs," because of how big they were. Ryan, happy 2024 to you too. Thank you for tuning in, guys. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to be right back. We're going to continue on with the 76ers when we get back.
All right, guys, it's time to talk about Sherry's Tickets. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less and play more with Sherry'sTickets.com. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. Do not pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets to the big game? If you need a more personal touch, give them a call at 610-494-5050. That's 610-494-5050. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, do not overpay and save with the best at Sherry'sTickets.com. Save 10% using the promo code EOP10. That's EOP10. You'll thank us later. Sherry'sTickets.com.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. We're closing. We closed up on the Flyers talk there, guys. Next up, those Philadelphia 76ers playing pretty good ball. Joe, we're going to look ahead here, man. Coming up, Sixers got a few games in tow this weekend, weather permitting, as they say here on the East Coast.
Gotta get the bread and milk.
Yeah, gotta get the bread and milk. Gotta get the bread and milk. If you ever saw Vic DiPotato,
Oh
Yes.
God, it was just
definitely go get it. You go see it. It's the funniest thing going.
It is.
Tomorrow night they get the Knicks. Here, Sixers are a 6.5-point favorite
With their new acquisition.
with their
Like
new
their
acquisition.
acquisition.
Yep. And then
Who's that?
actually the
Anobi?
Sixers actually got a back-to-back.
Joe, who's that?
OG.
OG.
Oh
Anunoby.
wow.
Anunoby, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the nope. Good.
Yeah, they have the Knicks Friday night, and then the Utah Jazz come slating the town on Saturday. And a
Saturday.
back-to-back.
Yeah. I think that the Jazz game is going to be like one that's going to be good if there's a snowfall because it's not going to be very competitive.
Well, here's the thing. That Jazz game, that Jazz team, they are in Boston tomorrow night. So they have a back-to-back as well.
Wow.
So you have two teams playing back-to-back, but the Sixers are actually home for the back-to-back.
Right. Yep.
So,
Utah's traveling.
yeah, they're traveling. They got to play they're up in Boston, and then they leave Boston, come down here and play the Sixers on Saturday.
In the
So,
snow. They
Wow.
got to travel in the snowstorm.
I mean,
no, it won't
I
be
beg to
snowing yet.
differ. unless there's like 4 feet of snow in the ground, and I'll believe it.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to snow Friday night. Into
No,
Saturday.
Saturday night.
Oh,
This is
Saturday
Sunday
into
morning.
Sunday.
Saturday, it's supposed to be done by like midday Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Well, if it's like the 2020, sorry, not 2023, 2013 snowball, like the Eagles have, maybe they'll.
Man,
probably
yo,
have a
shut
chance.
up! I got to work in that.
Yeah, really.
I'm not trying to be out there. I'm not trying to be out there from Saturday to like Wednesday, dude. But no, I thought it was a really good thing. I think they kind of answered something there because their last two games against the Bulls, man, didn't kind of go their way,
Yeah,
and especially the game in Chicago.
Yeah.
Like they just,
Yeah.
and it was good to see.
good
Embiid
bounce back.
Embiid came back, and they kind of like let the Bulls know, like, all right, listen, you got us early on in the season,
Right.
then you got us in Chicago. We're gonna put a stop to that.
We're going to call
Well,
our reinforcements.
Well, they played without Batum, I think, also in that
Yeah.
game, right?
Mhm.
In Chicago.
Yeah,
And Melton.
So
And
Melton.
And Mel.
So they
yeah.
were kind of shorthanded.
yeah, they had a short bench, but I was really it was good to see them get back on. And I'll tell you what,
Hey,
I'm looking at the I was looking at the standings, and with them,
he said just right.
just rain. I'm hoping your lips to God's ears, but
Not really.
we're looking at the way I was looking at this going forward with the Sixer team. Like right now, they're the third seed,
Mhm.
and they're like a half a game behind Milwaukee for the second seed, and then they're literally what 2.5 behind, or no, they're 3 games behind Boston
Right.
total.
Wow.
So they're like right there. They're within.
They're in the mix.
They're in the mix, and you know what? And it's finally this season's going smooth. If you take a look at it,
Right.
you're not hearing nothing. There's no outside noise.
No turmoil.
I do have a concern.
41 out of 14.
And the
Steven
concern
says.
is similar to the way it was last year a little.
Yeah, but you still had the James Harden crap going on
Yeah.
last year.
But my-
little
my-
You still had that
underlying
tumor
stuff.
my
in the locker room.
my concern has to do with the schedule. We've been playing some cakewalk teams.
There's a lot of them.
There's
in
a
the league,
lot
though.
of them.
there aren't that many great teams to
You know,
contend with.
I get that, but we're still playing like a lot of them. Like
You know,
we're
But they're
not seeing
taking
the
care of
Bulls.
business. So.
Well,
Yeah.
right, but we're not seeing like the Bucks. We're not a lot. We're not seeing like a lot of like the West Coast contenders.
let me ask you, of all the teams that are out there right now, except for maybe the one that's the obvious with the Pistons, I mean, how many teams are out there that are like legitimate contenders in that Eastern Conference?
Honestly, I
can't
can
even
only
tell you.
name 3, and
neither.
that's the Sixers, Celtics, and Bucks.
Yeah,
Those are the only
that's
3
the
I'm
only thing
really
that comes to my mind too.
Those are the only 3 that I consider true contenders in the East.
Uh,
now,
Because you think about it, I mean, obviously
There-
Pistons are,
now-
and obviously even like teams like that are out of our division, are
Now-
like the Wizards, for example.
now
It's
that
like
being
bad.
said,
Right.
it's not to say that there are other teams that
Guys
when
are
you
forgetting
go
about the
one
Miami
tier D.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Tier
about
down.
Miami. Yep.
Yeah, but here's the
Even
thing.
Cleveland too.
I don't feel like the Heat is the same because they lost a lot of pieces
Yes.
from
Yes, they
last
did.
season. So I don't think they're the same Heat from last year. That's why I'm putting them down one tier. They're still a quality team. They're
I think
just
after
not
they
a
lost
contender.
Struce, I think that they screwed up
Well,
their
they
game
lost
a little bit.
couple. They lost Struce and a
Struce
couple.
and was it Tyler Hero? No, Hero was hurt.
I mean, if you take a look at it, like I'm looking at it right here, if you're looking at the playoff picture right now for the Eastern Conference, you're looking at the top 8 teams. It's Cleveland at 8, New York at 7, Orlando at 6, Indiana at 5, Miami at 4.
Indiana's
Sixers.
that good?
Indiana's at 19 and 14. They're literally a half game behind.
That's what
Miami.
Here's what I said to you guys before, and I
Right.
know we said the in-season tournament was a joke. I get it.
Yeah.
But what I took away from that in-season tournament
Vincent, that's what it was.
is the Indiana Pacers are legit. They are not something to be not a team to trifle with. And,
yeah, I agree.
And I'm not saying that they're gritty. Okay, they're not like uber talented. They're just gritty.
You want to laugh? I'm looking at the tourney, right?
Right.
I'm looking at the teams with the best records in the tourney. Indiana 4-0, Milwaukee 4-0, Boston 3-1, Lakers 4-0, New Orleans 3-1, Sacramento 4-0, like Minnesota 3-1,
and like 3 out of the 5 teams are not even in.
Phoenix 3-1. Hold on, I'm not even done.
Oh,
Brooklyn and Orlando both 3-1.
Jesus.
In this tournament, you know what I mean? And then like that's why I'm sitting here looking. I'm like, oh, Cleveland also 3-1. So you had like half of the teams in the league, but I like some of these like little divisions that they had.
Yeah.
Like the one division, it was the Pacers, the Cavs, the 76ers, Atlanta, and Detroit. In one. The other one was
Dude, it was
Milwaukee.
confusing, man.
Yeah, it was Milwaukee, New York, Miami, Charlotte, Washington.
I feel bad for Washington and Charlotte because they're like, really?
Hold on.
Stuck with that?
Really.
Hold on, and then here's the best one:
Think it was
Boston,
a setup, Joe.
Boston, Orlando, Brooklyn, Toronto, and Chicago.
Oh, Jesus.
What kind of? I mean, damn.
Unbelievable.
Now the Western ones look pretty damn good. I like the Western ones. It was Lakers, Phoenix, Utah, Portland, and Memphis. One division.
That's decent.
That was before John Moran came
Yeah,
back too.
yeah. It was New Orleans, Houston, Dallas, Denver, and the LA Clippers for the other one.
Right.
And then the last one was Sacramento, Minnesota, Golden State, Oklahoma City, and San Antonio.
Wow.
By the way, because Papa Joe brought it up earlier, and I'm just going to reiterate this because you mentioned the Clippers.
What's that?
It doesn't seem like James Harden's making that,
Big of an
doing
impact.
that much big of a deal in Clipperland.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, like, it was not as bad as our first year with James Harden too, but then he started to get more frustrated.
no, I'm not talking in that regard. I'm talking in the fact that they thought we're going to be,
He's not having the impact that
right.
Oh,
everybody
I see.
expected.
They thought we're going to be contenders now.
Oh, okay.
And that we got James Harden, Kawhi, and
I got you.
PG-13. We're going to be contenders now.
It's like what they had with the.
Well, losing those 8 or 9 in a
the
row
Nets,
kind of put
too.
a damper on that right out
Yeah,
of the
right.
gate.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
that'll hurt, especially if you sat there and were like, well, we didn't give away much. That's fine. We wanted to get rid of him. We fire sailed him and you sold.
And we got guys that actually are benefiting
Playing.
the team right now, coming off the
Yep.
bench.
And here's the thing, too. I'm looking at it like their record. I mean, the Sixers got 2 more wins and 2 less losses. I mean,
Right.
they're at 21-12 for the Clippers, but they're 3 games back of number 1 in their conference
Right.
overall. Minnesota's having a great year. They're 24-9
That's a
over there.
surprise, man. That's how good.
Nah, you know what? I don't think so.
Well, yeah, that's that too with Karl Anthony Towns and Edwards. And
No,
obviously
I
Gobert.
agree with that, but the guy that's coming out of the woodwork and coming into his own, Anthony Edwards.
Yep.
Yeah.
That kid
sure.
is a superstar.
Yeah, he's like
will
an MVP candidate.
I
at this
will
point.
promise you on this day that in the next 3 years he will win an NBA MVP trophy.
He's in
in
the
the
mix
next
this year.
He's in the mix this year. I think.
Well, I understand, but
Yeah, he's that good though.
no, I mean he's that good. I'm not taking it away. I'm
Right.
just saying
Those
it's a
guys
lot of
have been beat off.
competition.
Before we go to commercial, just wanted to let you know, just came down the wire. Dalvin Cook signing with the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow.
Was let go by the Jets and signed with the Baltimore Ravens ahead of the playoffs.
Whoa.
So Dalvin Cook is on the move to Baltimore.
I think Baltimore's winning
I
this
think
thing.
winning. I think they're winning this thing.
Can we put money on the Ravens now?
I gotta admit, Mike was very helped. were hype about them all season. I got
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
back
I
out
mean-
to you, man.
Listen, I just felt like they were playing really, really good.
Yeah.
So, guys, listen, with that, we're going to come back. We're going to talk Birds. We're going to recap last week's game.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we do, unfortunately.
God.
We're actually
Here
going to
we
look
go.
ahead. We're going to look ahead. And where do they go? Do they get their mojo back before the playoffs start? And, of course, what you guys all been waiting for, my pick six.
Finale.
These guys, pick six, final pick six of the year as we get ready to loom into the postseason. So, guys, we'll be back after we're done paying some bills. We'll see you on the flip side.
All right, guys, if you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. Go to phillysportstrips.com. They have self-travel packages and full travel packages available with round-trip flights from the Philadelphia airport. Packages include direct flights, 4-night stays, all-inclusive tailgate parties, lower-level group tickets. Whatever you want, you got it with phillysportstrips.com. If you want to travel to an upcoming Phillies game, make sure you check out Philly Sports Trips. And do not forget, Philly Sports Trips has all the away trips for the Eagles' upcoming 2023 season. Jump on it now, because you do not want to lose out on all these great opportunities. Go to phillysportstrips.com.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Now we've been
Got to rip off the bandage here.
Yeah, we've been dealing with the
A couple bandages.
pleasures of our winter teams. Now we have to deal with the pain.
It's like that 3 Days Grace song.
Yeah.
I mean, there's two of them. There's two of them. So,
Yeah, one's Let's Start a Riot, and the other
one
one.
says I hate everything about
That
you
you.
again,
Yeah.
and Pain.
But I know I'm going to save Joe for last because I know the Hammer's about to go on an epic rant here about that.
What's good, Mitch?
He's been kind of doing that. Mitch Komsky checking in, guys. Make sure you check out Fly Like an Eagle. He will be following us, and that's right. My big dopey brain dead partner Pat Bernard will be his guest tonight. So make sure you get on there and go yell at Pat. Tell him I said so. So
You're entitled to, Mitch.
Steve checking in also saying go blue Mitchell. So I guess they're rooting for
Michigan.
For Michigan. I think Michigan's going to wrap it up. To be honest with you, one quick before we dive into the Eagles. Joe, who do you like in the college championship game?
I got to go Michigan because
You're going Michigan?
I've been betting against them all season. and
All
they've
right,
been
so all
proving me
three of you are going there. I'm actually going opposite, man. I'm going with the Huskies.
Huskies.
I think, I think that Michigan defense is going to have trouble trying to corral Michael Penix. I really do. And, the Huskies got a triple, header of themselves at wide receiver.
Either way.
But I want it to be competitive. If Michigan does win, hey, God bless him. Harbaugh gets his he finally gets his ring and his trophy on his way out.
And he gets to go to Denver.
Yep. I don't think he's going to go to Denver. I think he's going to end up going somewhere else. But Mitch is saying my Michigan Wolverines are taking it. Where they take it on Monday, Mitch, is up to Washington. So,
Good point.
But now we have to get into the pain of watching that pathetic Eagles defensive performance on Sunday. And James, I'm going to start with you, bud. Let me know what you were feeling after watching that game.
I felt like I was exhausted after that game. I think the most important thing that happened in that game on Sunday was obviously it's been like this all season. It's not been one easy, fun game, but honestly, dude, that performance they showed on Sunday was exhausting. It was absolutely exhausting, man. Because even when they were up 20-6, I said to myself, "You got to score more." Because the problem is that this defense is not capable of stopping anybody. I mean, Kyler Murray looked out there and he said, those Cardinals back in the day that we used to hate, that was definitely resurrected today.
Yeah.
That was definitely resurrected in this game.
It's the old Jim Hart.
The Jim Plummer days.
It's like it all came.
It all came back in full circle again.
Arizona's been our bane for a year now.
Yeah.
Just in general, going back to the Super Bowl in Arizona.
And that's the thing.
And
it's it was like the year of
Diamondbacks.
Yeah, Diamondbacks,
it's
right?
Like a year long.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
right.
Not just football.
Okay.
Just a year of Arizona, just gritting our teeth every
really
damn second.
All right, Joe, go ahead.
Joe,
opposite.
Well, I said it right before the show. Co-Tidian.
Yes.
That game. that reminded me so much of the last few games in '94 when Kotite was on his way out the door and they lost to 7 straight after being up 7-2 in the standings. And Kotite said he wanted a new contract with the new owner, Lauro, who had just taken over. And that was the end of that. Byron Evans tears his knee up against Cleveland.
Never saw him again.
And never saw the team again after that.
No, because you figure what, Seth Joyner left that year?
Right, but every year.
Or no, didn't Joyner leave in '93?
Already.
Yeah, he was in Arizona, right? He went to Arizona.
But that whole season was like one long slog, and that game Sunday reminded me so much of those games at the end where guys just lost their heart.
You know,
and they knew it was over.
You know, the thing that reminds me of it, I'm going to go off base here, but it reminded me so much of this season, reminded me of the 2011 Phillies. Because the way the team was, like they would look like they were the best team in football, and how I mean, look, I wasn't born with the '64 Phillies. Everybody talks about that. Because obviously,
you weren't even born with the '94 Eagle.
Yeah, well, that is true too. But I say 2011 Phillies just because the way they were supposed to be the top dog again. The problem is, I have the biggest problem with is just like, if this can translate into next year, we might be seeing another ripple effect. I just hope it's not the case. But this year, it's not been fun to watch. Even though if they were 10-1, it was just like I said, it was an exhausting grind to come to this point. Every week.
All right,
every
Hammer.
Friggin' week.
Go ahead, Hammer. Let him have it.
Right, Joe,
have at it, Joe.
Floor's yours, buddy.
The floor is yours, my brother.
I want to get this real clear. I have been on the optimistic train for this team for a while now, when a lot of people have jumped off it. Me and Mike have had arguments because I've defended this team. I'm going to sit here and say something as plain as day because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what the problem is. What defense that had a record-setting sacks last season, and 3 out of your 4 defensive linemen are back, and you pull up the reins? You don't go and just let the dogs loose against teams that are inferior, that are far inferior to you. This is a team that not only is Jekyll and Hyde, but it's also a perspective where the coaches are too many cooks in the kitchen. I know we want to blame the players because that's the easiest thing to do. And I'm going to go with my first point of view in the sense that everyone's blaming A.J. Brown. Everyone's blaming Jalen Hurts. Everyone's blaming Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson. And I'm not a fan of Brian Johnson. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to make my point really clear so everyone can understand, including your partner, Pat. Jalen Hurts in 16 games broke the total for yards and touchdowns that Randall Cunningham set in his best year in 1990. He broke it with passing yards and with total touchdowns. This is a guy in Randall Cunningham that we all saw as ultimate weapon, that we saw as one of the best quarterbacks in the Eagles' history. Yet, we're going to sit here and say 16 games into this season that the offense isn't where we thought it would be. No, it was. And then for whatever reason, the wheels fell off. Whether too many cooks wanted to dabble their little recipes into the already prepared meal. You can't put out a cutlet and sit there and go, I'm going to put a whole bunch of just garbage on top of it and act like it's still going to taste good. You can't trade Sean Desai for Matt Patricia and think it's going to go better. You can't pull up the guys that had 17 sacks like Hassan Reddick. Pull him and say, no, you got to go and drop into coverage. Do you not realize that's why he left Arizona to begin with? You got to know your personnel. You got to know your players. And in 17 weeks, if you don't know them by now, you need to get your head examined. because this has been a long season and it's frustrating to every one of us that goes and sees them play this pitiful of a game. It's no excuse. I know we want to sit here and make the colloquialisms of Kotite-esque. No, this was a matter that the coaches failed the players because the coaches put the players in the right position. I always said coaches win for what put the players in winning positions. We've talked about it ad nauseum here on this show and on other shows that Embiid hasn't won a championship because the coach hasn't put the right people and the right players in the right positions to make Embiid thrive or make the team thrive. Listen, same thing holds true for the Eagles. If Brian Johnson, Sean Desai, I don't care if it's Jeffrey Lurie. If they're not putting these players in the right position to succeed, the team's not going to. I'm going to leave my rant there, but I'm going to, by the end of this show, I want everyone to listen because by the end of this show, I'm going to plug some optimism into the rest of the Eagles season.
Wow.
Okay.
We got a couple comments right here, so I want to check it in. Steve says, 1994, Lurie's first year. Wonder if he reacts the same way after this year. Steve, that's a good question, but I don't think Sirianni's going anywhere. He said these coordinators have zero game feel.
That's where the changes are going to happen.
Yep. That's
I agree.
You know,
both coordinators.
Yep. Mike Papernick checking in big, as we call Mad Mike. He said the blame falls on the coaching staff. This team's coaching has been outcoached. And he's right. He has been. I mean, from Sirianni down, he's been outcoached. And he's been outcoached pretty badly over the last 6 weeks. It's Steve checking in. Says Reddick and Sweat ain't getting off blocks right now. They haven't been getting off blocks all year. But that's neither.
Dropped into coverage.
Well, yeah. I mean, as far not so much Sweat, but I've seen Reddick.
Reddick's been dropped into coverage 70% more this
year,
than
right?
Last
year, right? But I'm saying Josh Sweat hasn't been. He can't get off a block.
Yeah.
Like I call him the almost guy because he almost gets there.
Yeah. It's like Derek
Barnett,
2.0.
Yeah, without the penalties.
Without the penalties.
Mike checking in again says the Eagles need to bring back a defensive consultant like 2-3 months ago when I was saying the second set of eyes would have helped, but I was laughed at.
Patricia was the defensive advisor.
He was. Listen, you know what? Here's one thing that a lot of people were saying that, with Patricia taking over, nothing's really, happened. Well, no, I've actually seen some of the numbers. They had them on Good Morning Football. If you go back and look over, the Eagles' points, defensive points, are down. Right. The points they're giving up are down. They were averaging with the side, they were over like 24 points a game. They've actually dropped 7 points. They've actually dropped their third down getting off the field has gotten better, with the exception of this past game.
This past week didn't count. Yeah.
Right.
That throws a whole wrench in the.
Well, it does, but I mean, no. Even after this, their stuff has been down since he's taken over. But I get what Joe's saying when he says, just because you change coordinators, that doesn't mean nothing. But you also got to realize too, Darius Slay wasn't out there.
Right.
Okay. Avonte Maddox just came back this past week. So yes, the Eagles are missing key pieces. They missed Dallas Goedert for a month.
Right.
So it's not like this team hasn't experienced injuries. And I will say this. If you look at the San Francisco 49ers, as good as they are, when their left tackle, Trent Williams, went down for 3 games,
they lost those games.
They lost all 3.
Right.
With just him being out of the lineup.
Yep.
So, I mean, that can happen to a team. And you know what? Like, I look at it like this. The Eagles, going into last week's game, they were literally 1 game off from where they were a year ago.
Right.
With a tougher schedule. I'm sorry. Nobody in the NFL played a tougher schedule than the Eagles.
True.
They didn't. They literally had 6
But
teams.
you know what? It's when you break it down to the granular level, like a Seattle. You had that game won.
But, dude, they never win in Seattle.
Yeah, I know.
They never win out there. I mean, look at
what I'm saying, that last play.
It happens, though.
The interception against the Jets. It's like if 1 or 2 plays don't happen, this team has already got 14 wins.
Right, exactly. And that's why I said
they were on the edge of a knife all year,
right,
even in the wins.
Even with the wins, but you got to take a look at it, too. Like, what was the main what was one of the main criticisms of this Eagles team is that they weren't battle tested. I'm sorry, yeah, it's nice to beat the 49ers and go out there and beat the 49ers and Cowboys and go out there and beat up on teams, but what happens when a team punches you back in the mouth?
Right.
You see what happens. They got punched in the mouth. Like, the 49ers got punched in the mouth in Cleveland.
Right.
Like, they got beat by P.J. Walker, dude. Like, I don't want to hear nothing
And
about Brock Purdy. They got beat by P.J. Walker.
And they got, I mean, now it's
They got beat by
the-
Yeah, I get you.
they got beat by the Ravens. They got their
Oh, yeah, they got clocked.
yeah.
Right.
So, but here's my point of view: is do you notice that the sky
one
is
up, Jimmy.
falling for Eagles fans, and there's a possibility we're going to walk out of this season with 12 wins? Like the sky is falling, but we're going to have 12, possibly
Right.
12 wins.
Yeah,
like
that's
that's just boggling to me.
Yeah, I mean, if
Well,
you-
it's because of the expectation level.
but here's the thing, though.
But
Go back.
it's still there.
Yeah,
Go
I
back
gotcha.
and look at the beginning of the season. If you would have told everybody, hey, Birds are going to be 12-5 this year, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have signed up for
Oh,
it.
yeah.
They would have signed up for it because
Oh, I agree.
you looked how tough the
But
schedule
perception
was.
is reality. That's all.
I was
It's the way they looked in the last month
Yeah.
that's caused the problem.
Steven says,
My-
watch the last game-winning touchdown by Arizona. Reddick was out just completely and stuck to the right tackle. It was so odd. He also says, looked like Reddick had it.
Shot to disengage as well, and he
Yep.
didn't. But, I mean, it says maybe, Jack Daniel Mike says, maybe with the Eagles possibly not winning the division,
They might just get the.
Obbs must getting the 5th seed sends a
Like to
what?
fire him.
Maybe. I mean,
Well, they have to
maybe that
look
might
at
be
it
the
that
best. Maybe that may be the best thing to get away from
that-
here.
that loss last week should have lit a fire under a lot of people.
Should
Yeah,
have a chip
exactly.
on their shoulder.
Like, and I know that people
Especially
have been saying
knowing
that a lot.
winning the game would have changed everything.
Right. But and I know people have been saying that, and I think I brought this up to you, Joe, on the ride home before the holidays. I said, you know what I think the biggest issue that people are having this season with Eagles is that it's not, it was back then it was like 4 losses. I said it's not that we had 3 losses in a row. I mean 3 losses.
Right.
It's that we had them in a row,
Right.
and it was bunched together, and it
That's
was like
right.
boom, boom, boom.
Like I said, perception is reality.
And so that's where it kind of
Right.
slants, because if those losses are spread out through the year,
It doesn't hurt as much.
it doesn't hurt.
Right.
Right. Well, guys, listen. We kind of covered what we thought about this Arizona game. Now we look ahead to the New York Giants. Well, we got to pay the bills. We'll be right back.
All right, guys, when you're staying local and you want to watch a great game or just hang out with some great people, make sure to go to Dolan's Bar at 24 East Sellers Avenue at Ridley Park. Right off of I-95, south of Philadelphia Airport, Dolan's Bar is the place to be. Great music, great times, memorabilia giveaways, great drinks, and even better food. You never know when a former Philly sports icon walks through the door. You got to go to Dolan's, 24 East Sellers Ave at Ridley Park. Tell PJ that EOP sent you. Go to dolansbar.com or follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or even TikTok. We'll see you there for the game.
Alrighty, guys, we are back. Final segment here on the Locker Room Sports Show. So we will be handling both. We're now looking ahead, Eagles, Giants. One question I have for you guys before we give our Eagles Giants prediction for this. Do the Eagles rebound in time for the postseason? Papa, Scorza, you are.
I don't think so. I don't know. I just don't see them rebounding that easily in the playoff. I just think they're going to end up one and done. That's
Okay,
just
so you're
my
saying one and
feel.
done.
Yeah, I mean, good minds think alike. I said the same thing too. If they can't stop Toronto, I don't think they're going to stop either Derek Carr or Baker Mayfield in the playoffs.
Well, I think I can worry about Baker having his franchise moment.
Yeah, comeback, like
All
his
right.
comeback player of the year moment.
All right, so we got the Scorza saying no. Joe, what about you, bud?
Oh, I'm all in. I'm going to go with what my wingman TK would say, and that's 17-0 or 0-17. I'm riding with these guys to the very end, and I think this team
Got him right where we want him.
I respect that.
I honestly think that this team is NFC Championship bound.
Ooh.
Okay, so you're saying NFC Championship bound. Okay.
I hope you're right.
Me personally, I think they get. I think they get. I think they get back on track. Like it's. You know what they say? They say the playoffs is a different season, and unlike the Cowboys, unlike the 49ers. Well, I can't even say the 49ers. 49ers should probably be the only team probably closest to that next to the Eagles that can sit there and look and go, you know what? Yeah, Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we've been here before. I mean, the 49ers have made the title game, NFC title game, the last 5 years.
Right.
Brock Purdy's got more playoff wins than Dak does.
Yeah, he does. And I'll tell you
That
what,
he does.
I teams like the Cowboys, the Lions, where I feel like the Lions are going to be really good for a long time.
Yeah.
I just don't think this is going to be their first taste of success.
We talked about the Flyers Foundation.
Yeah.
The Lions have a really good
They
foundation.
do out there.
Yeah,
I
the
think,
Lions have a really good
I think they're going to run the North for a
good team.
minute, and I'll tell you what, they're going to be a team to be dealt with, but I just don't think it's this year.
Right.
I'll tell you what, man, the one team that keeps sticking in my craw that I'm looking at is this LA Rams team. They
Really?
are playing so good right now.
Yep.
I could see them pulling. I could see them
they could
pulling
be
an
a dark
upset.
horse. Yeah.
I could see them
they
pulling an
could be a
upset.
dark
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. And Seattle's already went to Detroit and beat the Lions already this year once.
Yeah,
So,
Steven says, how could you possibly blow in the playoffs if we're going to be almost? Yeah, I don't get that either, Steve.
So I mean, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go against you two guys, the Scorzas. I'm going to have to go
That's
against
all
you
good.
guys.
Hey, look, I hope I'm
that's right.
wrong.
Oh, I'm
I'm
pretty
wrong
sure.
too.
Yeah, I'm probably siding with Joe here. Like, I see them getting to an NFC title game. I just don't know why. I just think Seattle or the Rams. One of them two teams are going to win in that first round.
You know, it's
Yeah.
funny. Like it kind of feels like they're playing possum, but I don't know if I.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because if you're looking at the offense, right? I'm sorry. How can this offense look so bad if they're practicing it?
Right.
Like, to me, it looks like they know they're good enough to get through the NFC, whether they get the number one seed or not. But it was like, it would be something if they did, if they played possum and then all of a sudden.
So
if they do this, it's a stroke.
It'd be funny, but
yeah, it would.
I don't think it happens.
This is the
No.
burst of optimism I want to give people because I've been listening. I tried to unplug a little bit from sports radio and sports talk
Sure.
this week because every time I was listening to it, it was getting me angry.
Absolutely.
But I kept hearing this, and then I did my research because I really wanted to see whether people were seeing it or not seeing it right.
Mhm.
People were saying that we're relying too much on the tush push. If we're relying, the tush push is basically a 2-yard play.
Right.
Right.
I don't care if you do it, let's say 50 times. I don't think they did it 50 times, but let's
Right.
just say they did it 50 times.
Got you.
That's 100 yards. Okay. But you have a team that has a quarterback that's thrown for 3,800 plus yards and a running back that's ran for 1,000 yards,
Right.
over 1,000 yards.
Right.
So, no, I don't think they're relying on the
No,
tush
they're not.
push.
I don't think so.
So I'm going to quell that noise. This team knows how to run an offense, or at
Mhm.
least they did. There was a drop-off. I don't know where it happened.
Right.
Go back to the way it was.
Gotcha.
Even if it was close games, you were still winning those games.
Right.
And that's
Right.
where I think the difference is.
Right.
The energy that we should be doing, just like Mike said, and I believe it too, the playoffs is a different season. So you played some of those games in the same offensive set, even if it's scraping on by, a W is still a W.
Hey, look. Like,
30 or
you all
not.
start all start 0-0, like
0-0.
0-0. Yeah.
All right, guys. This is our prediction time for the Giants game. So we're going to go around the horn. We're going to start with you, James, first.
Close game, but Giants will win. I say 37-24.
37-24 Giants.
I don't know, man.
You think the Giants are going to score 37 points?
Dude, Tyrod Taylor, I don't know why.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, man.
I'll take
Look,
the under.
All
Look,
right.
it breaks my heart
Joe-
too, man.
So what do you got? Hammer, what do you
Saquon
got?
Barkley could have a comeback player. I don't know, man.
I don't
That's
think the Eagles
confusing.
play all their starters. And so I think the Giants win this game 21-17.
All right. Papa Scorza?
I'm still. Oh, I think they're going to actually win the game, but it's going to be another one of these like
Grit of our
aggravating-
teeth.
It's grit of your teeth, kind of like 28-24. Even with if they pull the starters,
You know,
I think they just have.
I've been pretty
Just
decent
enough.
around that. I think the starters get pulled. I think they go. I think the starters send a message. I really do. I think they put up. I think they put up 28 in the first half. This
and then
week.
just kind of like.
I think
hang
they
off
put up
and
28.
hang on by
Cruise
their
control.
fingernails.
No,
to the
no,
end.
no. I think they put up 28 in the first half, and I like the Birds. They're going to add another 10 after that. I like the Birds 38-17 over the G-Men.
Okay.
G-Men are already packed up, ready to go play golf. I think they get right. I really do. Whenever we need the Eagles to get right, Here comes the New York Football Giants.
You know what
They're the gift that keeps giving every
you know
year.
what I love is the
Boston
fact
Scott still got one more
that
shot.
all those
got
people
one more
and
shot to
Al,
shine.
you're one of them because I heard this from Al last season. Everyone's like, "Watch out for the Giants, Brian Gable," and I'm like, "Okay, now what?" Like,
Well, listen, they had a good year last year.
They did.
right, but
But that
you're
was
telling
last
me
year.
a quarterback is a Daniel Jones is
Listen.
it's
I didn't
not-
say their front office was smart. You know what I mean? Steve says we need to target 8 players per game, just like 2017. Don't be top heavy. He said, I think the Giants suck so bad it doesn't matter who the Eagles
That's
play.
where I'm at too.
He says normally I would go the other way, but I think they packed it in. So
Yeah.
all right, guys, this is my basically I call it the pick 6. I give you guys my 6 picks. If you want to put some shekels on it, you're more than welcome to. So with that being said, I'm going to give you my 6. We're going to go around the room. These guys will give me their picks as well. I'm starting it off with those Houston Texans. I am taking them -1.5 against the Indianapolis Colts. I am taking those Cincinnati Bengals straight up. I'm not taking no points.
No Joe Flacco this week.
No Joe Flacco and
Oh,
Browning.
come on, man.
Browning is playing. The game's in Cincy, and what better way to Cincy for them to finish out their season than to beat their cross-state rivals? I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars -5 in their game against Tennessee. I think Tennessee's pretty much packed it in. Derrick Henry will be looking for a new spot. I am taking those Los Angeles Rams. I'd like them to go in and beat the 49ers. No Brock Purdy, no Christian McCaffrey, no Trent Williams, no Niner win on Sunday. So
Carson Wentz is going to get the W.
Carson Wentz is going to go to Santa Clara and beat the 49ers.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
I also like birds of a feather flock together. I like the Seattle Seahawks to get a little revenge for the Eagles over the Arizona Cardinals, laying the 2.5. And my upset of the week, because we know it's the Cowboys, we know it's January, and they do not win in
There
January.
you go.
I am taking the Washington Commanders
Yes,
with the
sir.
13.5, but I think they win the game outright. The Cowboys are resting some people. Looks like Tyrod Smith and their other Smith on the other side, their tackle or their guard, both going to be missing some time. I don't think they're going to play them a full half. So maybe Dallas gets up big in this game and pulls them, but I'm definitely taking the Commanders with the 13 points. I think Scary Terry and the crew send Ron Rivera out a winner.
I hope so.
So
That'll open it up for the Eagles again.
Yeah, it will. Joe, you Hammer, what do you got?
So
before you go any further, Steve says one last comment. He's afraid more of the turf than the Giants, actually. So everybody's worried about that dang old
MetLife is the new vet.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so I got the Ravens over the Steelers. Yep.
Okay.
Texans over the Colts.
Okay.
Jags over the Titans.
Okay.
Lions over the Vikings.
Okay.
Saints over the Falcons.
Okay.
And Patriots over the Jets.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
That's
New
a
England.
good one, man.
What do you got, James?
Texans over the Colts.
Okay.
Saints over the Falcons.
I think you two studied at the same place.
Browns. I got to go with Joe Flacco again.
You
I
go
like
with
the Browns
Cleveland? Okay.
over the Cincinnati Bengals. Commies over Dallas.
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
both of you. Jeez.
Jackson-
Even my dad's the Commie fan, and he's
Sorry,
not
Mr.
even-
Marks.
He's not even rooting for them. Jesus.
Who do you got?
Let's see. Jacksonville over Tennessee.
All right.
And this one was tough, but I got to go with Buffalo over Miami.
You took Buffalo over Miami. Okay. Papa, what you
All
got?
right, I'm going to go. I'm going to stick with Doug. I'll go with Jaguars are winning that game, win the
All right.
division. I'm going against you guys on the Colts game. I'm going with the Colts. I think Steichen's going to get them in the playoff in the wild
Seriously?
card.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 3, I would say the Buccaneers. They want that division.
Okay.
And Brownies. Joe Flacco's the hot hand.
Yep.
Is that 4?
I think
Yeah.
that's
It's,
was that
one, two,
4 or
three.
5?
Yep, you got
That's
two more.
Raiders over the Broncos.
okay.
They want
They
keep
basically
that-
fired Sean
They
Payton.
want to keep that coach.
Sean
They're
Payton.
playing for Antonio Pierce on that one.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
And the last one, the Bills. I think the Bills pull it out,
All right.
and the Dolphins end up scrambling.
Okay.
Is that the division? If the Bills win,
The Bills win, they win the division.
Bills win. Here's a scenario with that.
If they lose, I think they're out.
They are out. They can either be the number
So-
2 seed or they are not in the playoffs
Same with
at
the
all.
Jaguars.
I
The
heard about that,
Jaguars,
too.
the Jaguars lose, they're out,
Yeah, if
Yep.
they lose, they're out because Houston would win the division.
That is crazy.
and they wouldn't get a wild card.
They wouldn't
Yeah,
get a
that
wild
is
card
crazy.
because they lost
So
to
you got
Indy.
2 like win or go home games with
Yeah.
the Bills and Jags, and I
Yeah.
think both of them.
that's
Hold on.
some wrestling
Yeah,
stuff.
your buddy
That's
Insinuo
like
says, "Go Jets,
stipulations.
fire Bill."
Yeah.
So those are
Oh
playoff-
yeah. But he wants Bill out of there in the worst way. He's
But
tired
those
of
are
Bill.
but those are playoff games for the Bills and the Jags.
They are. Well, guys, listen, it has been another fun hour. We have come to our time limit. Guys, make sure you stay locked in here at EOP. Coming up next, Mitch Kofke and Fly Like an Eagles podcast. He's got, speaking of bird brains, he's got my partner on, Pat Bernard. He'll be joining him live. Guys, for Joe, the Hammer Marks, James Scorza, Papa Scorza joining in
I
with
just
us.
want to say, Mike, thank you for
Ah,
inviting
man,
me
listen,
to stick in.
this
You
was
know,
fun, man.
to fill in on the bullpen.
Hey,
Today.
he
It was,
came
it
in.
was fun.
He came in. You'll be seeing more Papa Scorza popping in
I'll
on
be
with
around.
us.
I'll be around while I'm driving.
He's
so.
better than Kimbrel.
He is.
I'm the Uber driver. So at least
Yeah, he's the Uber driver
I'll be
here,
here.
so he's always here. But guys, again,
Have a
make
great
sure
time. Happy New Year, everybody, too.
make sure you guys stay tuned. Again, Fly Like an Eagle with Mitch, with my bird brain partner Pat Bernard joining him, and also later on tonight, Attacking the Third will also be on at 9:00, guys. Right here, EOP is where it's at. I'm Mike Lauro for the rest of these guys here in the locker room. We're out.
Go
See ya.
Birds.